I hope that people can hear me. I'm gonna wait like a couple minutes until everybody can come in. If other people are going to join, if not, then that's fine. This will be a nice little instructional video that I can repost later on somewhere like on YouTube or whatever. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get started, and we're just gonna kind of go into a couple of like the more basic ideas of how to build projections. This is not going to be something that is just like ultra complicated. It's going to go into a couple of the basic things you need to understand about when you're building out a projection model, the things that are important to know in terms of regressing certain stats and in terms of what stats affect other ones, and just kind of how to set up a model that's going to be able to take in stats and spit out projections. So I thought something that would be good to do would just be a very basic baseball model where we're doing a very basic projecting forward of batter stats and hitter stats in a certain matchup. I'm going to show you guys how to set that up on a live Excel sheet. I'm going to show you how to like where to get the information and where to pull in the information. And we can go into another video next week about how to do more web scraping stuff. But for now, I'm just going to be doing a lot of copy and pasting because that's just the easiest way for me to do it and to just like give you a basic idea of how these things are going to work. So let's get into it. First off, like what are we going to need, right? So we're going to need players, we're going to need stats, and then we're going to need to know how to put those stats up against each other in order to spit out projections for a certain matchup, right? So I don't think I'm going to go through and build out an entire projection model for like a slate. I think what we're going to end up doing on this is just kind of putting up a mock pitcher versus hitter situation, but so like a team versus a certain pitcher. And that's going to involve taking a pitcher, it's going to involve taking hitters, it's going to involve getting all of their stats, it's going to involve putting their stats up against each other in a way that makes sense statistically and analytically. And hopefully it can spit up some projections at the end of it, and then I can answer some questions along the way. If you guys have any questions, just put them into the chat room like while we're going through. Um, I don't know how well this is going to go. I am good at improvising, but if I miss anything or if I like say something that kind of goes over people's heads, just let me know. Again, I'm recording this so that I can upload it to YouTube later, or so that I can upload it onto Twitch later. I'm not exactly sure how that works, but I am recording this so that people who missed it can watch it afterwards. So let's just start with getting the information that we need to get, right? So what are we going to be projecting here? We're going to need to have a pitcher. We're going to need to have a couple hitters, right? They're going to be in the batting order. We are going to need the batting averages of the hitters, because we want to know how many hits they're going to get if we're going to be projecting forward. We are going to want to know, let's see, steals. We're projecting steals for DraftKings. We're going to want to know, let's just make it really basic and say home run percentage. We're going to want to know, let's see, we're going to want to know how many hits are doubles and how many hits are singles and how many hits are home runs. So singles, we're just going to pull that individually. We're going to want to see doubles. We're going to want to see home runs. But home run is going to be answered by the home run percentage. We're not actually going to count how many home runs a player gets outside of that. We just want to know their home run percentage, like within the game, right? So these are kind of the things we're going to be projecting out. One sec while this loads in. Having the second screen up is not going to work for me. It's making things run too slowly. So I'm closing that really quick. There we go. And actually, it might be better if you guys have Discord open to be typing the questions in the Discord rather than typing them into the chat on Twitch, because that way I'm going to be able to see them. I have Discord up as well, and I'm not sure if the questions are going to come through on the stream chat on my streaming service. So, let's see. So what else are we going to need? We're going to need walks, right? We're going to need to know how many walks a hitter is going to get. We're going to need to know how many runs are implied for that game. Well, actually, no, we're not. Not for the purpose of this. But I am actually going to take all of this, move it over, put this here. All right. So that's the basic for hitters. Batting average, walks, steals, home run percentage, singles, doubles, and clear that column. Actually, let's pull all this over here because it's just going to be for hitters, so that we can project out. Eventually, what we're going to have is all of the hitters right here. We're going to have all their batting averages. We're going to have all of their walk percentage. We're going to have their steals. We're going to have their home run rate, and have how many singles they get, how many doubles they get, and that is going to be all. Okay, so then we'll just call this hitters. Why did I have caps lock on? We're going to add another one where we're going to have pitchers. And pitchers, we're going to have the actual pitcher's name. We're going to have their K percentage. We're going to have their walk percentage. We're going to have their batting average allowed. We're going to have their home run percentage. And then pitchers don't actually have any control over steals. That's a stat that hitters own. I know there is some predictive nature in terms of like catchers and how many steals a catcher allows in terms of like the battery. It's called a stealing battery when you're talking about actual DFS stuff. But I'm not going to include that here. This is the reason why we're putting down pitcher stats is so that we can regress them for the hitters, right? And so that we can talk about like when we're comparing this matchup, Eventually what we're going to have is we're going to have the pitcher, and then we're going to regress the hitter stats to the pitcher. So we need over here, actually I did forget one over here. At least one. And I'm probably going to forget a couple things here as we continue through. But we need strikeout percentage for hitters as well. And then we'll have a matchup page where we're going to have the pitcher, we're going to have the hitter, and then we're going to say here's the strikeout percentage, here's the walk percentage, here is the batting average. And we're going to have the home run percentage. Steals. Right? Singles, doubles. Okay, cool. So then what we're going to need, because this is going to be like if we put in Mike Trout, right, we're going to want his stuff to populate here. If we put in Aaron Judge, we're going to want his stuff to populate here. We're going to use some lookup formulas to go pull this stuff from another tab that we have, which is going to be hitter stats. And we're going to have one for pitcher stats. So let's go get those stats. Here, normally what I'm going to do, and what I think I'm going to like put together next week, will be how to scrape stats if you want them. But for now, we're just going to run over to Fangraphs and we're just going to grab them. So if you don't know what Fangraphs is, if you are very new to MLB DFS, Fangraphs is kind of like the de facto first place you should go for baseball statistics. They have like everything ever. It's free. You can get a membership if you want one, but it is free. So what you'll do is you'll go into leaders, and then you'll choose batting leaders 2020 if it is for the 2020 season, if we are even going to have a 2020 season. I'm just going to go to 2019 for the purpose of this video, but wherever you want to get your stats, whatever the time frame is going to be, you can choose that time frame. And in fact, there is a really, really cool splits leaderboard where you go to the splits leaderboard and you can put in a whole bunch of different circumstances and parameters and stuff like that for your hitters or for your pitchers. It'll say help sport Fangraphs, and this is actually really annoying when you're scraping, but if you have a membership, then it doesn't say that. So I'll just click no thanks for now. So since we're looking at 2019 stats right now, I don't need to change the date range. You can choose batting for versus left-hand pitcher versus right-hand pitcher, home, away, lefties, or as righties, so that if you have like a switch hitter, then you can choose just them as a left-hander or just them as a right-hander. For pitchers, you can say as a starting pitcher or as a relief pitcher, which is important because some pitchers are significantly better as relief pitchers. They don't have to monitor themselves as much. So that's important. For the case of this, we're not really going super in depth into this. We can go way more in depth into what you can do on Fangraphs in future live streams and in future videos and stuff like that. But for now, we're not really worrying that much about it. We're just going to kind of pull the things that we need here. So what are we pulling here? We are pulling, we want to know the strikeout percentage. We want to know the batting average. What do I have the percentage after that? We want to know the walk percentage. We want to know how many steals hitters get. We want to know what the home run percentage is of certain hitters. And we want to know how many singles and how many doubles a player is going to get. And what we really want to know is all of this stuff per plate appearance. So strikeout percentage is already inherently per plate appearance. Batting average is already per plate appearance. Walk percentage is already per plate appearance. But steals is not. Steals, what we really want is steals per plate appearance, because what we're trying to do is project a plate appearance of a certain hitter, right? Like you want to know what a certain outcome is for a hitter, like what is allowed per plate appearance, so that you can then aggregate them later for 4 plate appearances or however many plate appearances you are projecting that hitter to get. home run percentage, this is going to be, again, per plate appearance. So we're going to want to know how many home runs a player gets per plate appearance. Singles, again, like we're going to regress all of this towards plate appearances so that we can project out that plate appearance. So what we need to do is we need to get a couple different things here, right? Like we can get batting average here in just like the standard. We can get singles, we can get doubles, we can get home runs, and I'm pretty sure you can get steals on this one, right? Yeah, stolen bases. Okay, so cool. So this has everything that we need right here. We can just go to export data, and that is usually it'll bring up a little thing right here that you have to click on so that you can download. I have it so that it just automatically downloads it and opens it on my screen. So here we go. Um, Luckily, we don't have to worry about doing any sorting here. If you didn't have everything that you needed on this one, like say you wanted a hard hit percentage, right? Like you would have to go over to batted balls and you would have to export this data as well. Like say you wanted hard hit percentage. You have to go and export this data. And then what you have to do in order to merge these is you have to sort it by name so that you have like A to Z, so that you're not having like Todd Frazier getting stats that are not his if you're just copying and pasting. So I'll show you what I mean. Let's get these side by side. All right, so these look like they are actually sorted correctly. All the way down the list. They are, but it won't be like that every time. Where sometimes Todd Frazier is going to be on the top of this list, and then on the top of the batted ball list, maybe it's Yonder Alonso, or maybe Jeff Mathis is at the top of the regular list, and Robinson Cano is at the top of the batted balls list. In order to make it so that you could combine those two things, you would go to this one, you would highlight all of this, go to data, filter so that you can get filters on all of the columns. And then you would sort name A to Z. And you do the same thing over here where you would take the entire thing, you go to data, go to filter, and then you would sort all the names A to Z. And then that would make it so that you could then just take all of this data here, like, or whatever data you wanted. Say you just wanted hard hit percentage. You could grab this, copy that, go back over the spreadsheet, and then just paste it wherever you wanted to paste it. So now we know, since we sorted both of these alphabetically by name, we know that AJ Pollock is getting the correct hard hit percentage. We know that Adalberto Mondesi is getting the correct hard hit percentage. That's just something that you should know. You might have to do if you're combining spreadsheets from Fangraphs. It's just important to know that they're not always sorted nicely. But now that we have the one thing that we want from this, we wanted hard hit percentage, then you can just close it. You don't have to save it. No, just remove all the data. And then you have hard hit percentage added to this spreadsheet. So we didn't need it for this. If we were actually projecting other stuff, we would want to grab things like home run per fly ball rate. We would want fly ball percentage. If you were trying to regress home run rates and stuff like that, then you would need those kinds of things from the advanced metrics and from the batted ball metrics. But for the purpose of this, we don't care. We only care about the things we got from the standard, since we're only doing a very basic projection thing. So we're going to take all that stuff. We're going to go to our hitter stats. We are going to copy and paste it. Whenever I'm working with Google Docs, I always, well, for the most part, try to paste just values only. That's this one right here. For me, on a Windows machine, it is Control-Shift-V. So I'll do that. It will paste all of the data that I had copied from that download that I had, and it'll paste it into this spreadsheet right here, and it'll just paste the values. So if there were any formulas there, or if there's any weird formatting or stuff like that, like this will make it so that it is pasted with the formatting of the spreadsheet. So that's important. Now we have all this data. We have all the header stats we need. So usually what I will then do is I'll go through here. I will make sure that all the columns are only as wide as they need to be, because I don't like having to go all the way over to the side of the spreadsheet to see things. And then I will usually also center align things, because I just think that it looks better. It works better for my eyes. You guys obviously don't have to do that. Formatting is a personal thing. So these are the header stats we need. But remember that everything that we wanted needed to be per plate appearance. So we know that average, this is already something that we can just say is per plate appearance. Like AJ Pollock has a 26.6% chance of having one of his batted ball events turn into a base hit or a home run. So like we already know that that's going to be per plate appearance, per batted ball event. For strikeout percentage. So that's something that we can do really quick. Like we're going to do a couple different ones. We're going to take singles. We're going to do that per plate appearance. We're going to do doubles. We're going to do that per plate appearance. We're going to do home runs per plate appearance. We're going to do strikeouts per plate appearance, which is basically strikeout percentage. And then we're also going to do stolen bases per plate appearance and walks per plate appearance. So this is good. We can just take all that stuff, and this will be a nice little like, here's how you do all these things just in a spreadsheet. So I'm going to remove player ID, actually, because we don't need it, obviously. And then I think I'm just going to keep the rest. So if we wanted to do, let's do singles per plate appearance, right? First base single per plate appearance. That is going to equal first base divided by plate appearances. And that is going to be 14.9% of plate appearances turn out to be a single. And this is going to be formatted as a percentage. And we're actually going to do the same things with doubles, home runs, walks, strikeouts, and stolen bases. So one thing that you can do, if you know that you're going to continue to reuse plate appearances, then up here in the little function, like this is saying cell H2 divided by cell E2. But if we copy this over, then what we're going to get is cell I2 divided by cell F2, because once you copy this formula and put it one cell over, then what Google Docs is going to do and what Excel is going to do is it's going to just like move everything over one. So it's going to move over from H2 over to I2. It's going to move over from E2 over to F2. If you wanted to reuse plate appearance multiple times, what you can do is you can put a little $sign in front of the E, and then that's going to make it so that when you copy it over, now see how the E stayed? That little $sign says to not change that E. It'll change the 2, but it won't change the E. If we wanted to make it so that it was always referencing cell E2, then we could do $E, $2. Then that way, no matter where we take this, it is always going to be referencing cell E2. Like all of these are referencing cell E2. If I make it so that we remove that $sign from there, then it's always going to reference cell E, but it is going to change what row it is going to reference. So cell E2 means that it's referencing column E and row 2. If you use the $sign, then you can explicitly tell it to only look at a certain column or row. So with that being said, since we know that we're going to use E multiple times, but we know that we are also going to be looking at every single player, we're going to want to keep the rows being dynamic and this E being static. Let's just delete these. So this right here, this is I2, so doubles divided by plate appearances. And then we are also going to want to have home runs divided by plate appearances. So we can copy this over, and right now this is doing triples, so we're just going to move this over one more. I'm going to say K2 divided by that. That's interesting. AJ Pollock had as many home runs per plate appearance as he did doubles per plate appearances. Here, so we need to insert rows over to the right. A couple of them. I think I did one too many, but that's okay. So here's home runs. Next one, we're going to want to do walk per plate appearance. And we're going to want to do strikeout per plate appearance. And we're going to want to do stolen base per plate appearance. So walk is cell N2. Strikeout is cell P2. And stolen base is cell U2. Cool. So then again, I'm going to make it so these are good like this. And then so now we have all of the plate appearance, the per plate appearance data that we need for AJ Pollock. Yep. So then what we're going to do is take all of this, we're just going to copy this, and we're going to copy all of this entire range of cells. And we're going to drag it down all the way down towards the bottom of our headers. Which is going to take some time because we have 371 headers, I think. Yeah, I was right. And then we're just going to paste that. So I copied that range, and then I dragged it all the way down, all of these rows of X, and then I just hit Control V. So now we have the per plate appearance stats for every hitter in this sample. So now what we can do is over here for this hitters, we can build in a lookup formula here. So for strikeout percentage, let's just, do they have X lookup on, oh, these motherfuckers. All right. So we're going to do index match match because I think that that's better. So for that, what we're going to need is strikeout per plate appearance, average, walk per plate appearance, stolen base per plate appearance, home run per plate appearance, single per plate appearance, and double per plate appearance. All right, so equals, now I'm going to show you guys how to do an index match match formula. Index match match is basically just VLOOKUP, but it makes it so that you can go left and right rather than just to the right. If you're doing this on Excel, on like an actual Excel document, you can use XLOOKUP, which is a fantastic formula. And I have like 40 fucking Excel documents up right now. So let's just go open that up really quick. XLOOKUP is really cool. And this is League of Legends data, but XLOOKUP on Excel says that you can just choose whatever lookup value you want. So let's just choose FlyQuest. You can choose where you're trying to find them, which is in column A. And then you can choose what column you want to look up for that team. You can do kills per assist. And it'll bring that up. If you have been using VLOOKUP, you know that is considerably easier than VLOOKUP, which I'm not going to show right here. I'm going to use an index match match. So let's do that really quick. Equals index, and then you're going to choose what index you are trying to look in. For us, it's going to be hitter stats. Since we're going to be looking up certain hitters and trying to find their stats, then we're going to start in the row with all of the hitters. If you hold Control and Shift and you hit the right key, then it'll go all the way to the end of your data. And then you can do the same thing while continuing to hold Control and Shift and press down. And then that'll go and highlight all of your data like that. Because I know that I want to be working specifically with just this range of cells, like it's never going to change what row to start with or what column to start with, what column to end with, and what row to end with. I'm going to use those little $signs up here and make it so that that data is never changing. So I am always going to want to reference at the beginning cell B2 and at the end cell AC372. So that's what array we're going to be looking at. For the row, we're going to go match, not Mitch, match over here. and we're going to be wanting to match Mike Trout. So it'll choose, and on Google Docs it shows you this. You choose what you want to match, your search key, and then you want to choose where you want to find that key. For us, we're going to be wanting to look in this right here, hitter stats, column B. And again, I'm going to explicitly say this because we're never going to be looking anywhere else for that hitter. And then the search type is just either an exact or a partial match. We're looking for exact matches, so I'm going to do that. And I'm also going to say that I only want to be looking, when it comes to this document, I only want to be looking in column A for Mike Trout. Cool. So that's the first match, and that's going to choose what column, or what column it is looking for. Like, it's going to be looking for this right here, cell A2, in hitter stats column B. And then we're going to have one more match here. So remember, it's an index match formula. So that was choosing what row to look in, and now we're going to be choosing what column to look in. So we're going to do another match here. Not mock, match. And now, so again, it's going to be choosing what we're looking for, what range to look for in. We're going to be looking for this. And the row is never going to change here, even though these ones are. And I'll show you guys that here in a sec. And then we're going to be looking for that value. Are you serious? We're going to be looking for that value up here in this range of cells. And again, I'll explain all of this here in a second. But I know that this range of cells is never going to change, so I'm just going to use dollar signs to make sure that never changes. It's going to be an exact match using 0. Cool. So this should give us strikeout per plate appearance, because we are looking for Mike Trout in that hitter set, and we're looking for the data from the column that is strikeout percentage for Mike Trout. So the way that works, this index, we're looking in the hitter stats array. We are trying to find the row that contains Mike Trout in column B, and then we are trying to find the data in the column that matches strikeout per plate appearance. So you can see that for Mike Trout, I can go over here and we'll find Mike Trout. And we're going to be looking in this column for Mike Trout. And it should be 26% or whatever it is. Okay, and I have 20%. So that means that I wrote something wrong over here. Now, where's that 26.03? Okay, so that is actually finding Mike Yastrzemski's strikeout percentage, which means that I am 1 too low on this. I can go back and troubleshoot that a little bit. It probably means that if it's 1 too low, then it's looking 1 cell too low. So I should change this to A. No, that didn't do it. Let's figure this out. So it is matching exactly. That's why. Okay, so it is looking through the entirety of the B columns when really it should be looking B2 through B a lot of fucking cells. There you go. And the reason for that was when we were looking over here in the hitter stats, it was looking through all of these when it really, and because of that, it was skipping one column. We needed to explicitly say B2 through B a lot of cells so that it would have a lot of different cells to look through. So cool. There's that lookup. Now, if we change this from strikeout per plate appearance instead to walk per plate appearance, then what it's going to do is it's going to match this walk per plate appearance to whatever column this is, and it's going to pull walk per plate appearance. So now that we already have this formula put together, we know that it's going to look for Mike Trout, and it's going to look for it's going to look for whatever is in this cell and match it to whatever is in this cell. So we can just drag this across, copy and paste it all the way across, and we're going to be able to get all of his stats, all of whatever this cell is, and whatever these cells are, matching into this data, which is cool. We can type whatever name we want here. We can go Aaron Judge, and it's going to pull Aaron Judge's stats. We can go Jose Altuve, and it's going to pull whatever Jose Altuve's stats are. We can go Mookie Betts, and we can pull whatever his stats are. So that's important because we are going to actually take, eventually, we are going to regress a matchup here, right? Where we're going to take whatever pitchers here, we're going to take whatever hitters are here, and we're going to spit up stats for them here. So let's just take the Los Angeles Angels, I guess, since we're talking about Mike Trout. And we're going to take their batting order, or like some simulated batting order. Can I just copy? Well, that's annoying. All right, whatever. So I'm not going to worry too much about this right now. I'm just trying to get like names on the chalkboard for now. I'm just going to clear this stuff. And then I'm going to take these names. Cool. And how many players is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We don't need those two. So let's act like this is the Angels starting lineup. Cesar Puello, of course, is not going to show up. That's all right. We'll just assume that it's a pitcher. Who even pitched for the Angels last year? I mean, he didn't pitch for him, but whatever. We're not worried about that. Oh, damn it, he's right here. We are worried about that. Oh, come on. Just say, sure. Why? Dustin Garneau. All right, I don't care about this one. Whatever. So we're just going to say this is the Angels. So now let's go populate the pitcher stats really quick, because for the pitchers, we know that we are going to need the same things. We know that we're going to need to have their strikeouts per plate appearance. We know that we're going to need their walk per plate appearance. And we know that we're going to need their batting average allowed. We're going to need to know their home run per plate appearance. So the same stuff that we are going to want to know for hitters outside of stolen base per plate appearance, first base per plate appearance, second base per plate appearance. And actually, oh no, it's all good, man. You don't have to like keep up on this. I'm talking pretty quick, but I mean, I'm gonna end this in about 5 minutes after we get the pitcher stats, because I didn't realize that I was gonna need to go this in depth. So this is gonna be kind of like a moving series. I think I'm probably gonna do like one video every 2 days or something like that, where eventually we're gonna have like a projection system built. But right today, I guess we're gonna do data aggregation. So this is how you get all of the data aggregation for hitters. Let's go get the data for pitchers now, where we can probably just do the same thing that we did for hitters and pull in just like the standard data that we need. So we have plate appearances here. Oh wait, this is hitters, pitchers. Plus, my neck's kind of starting to hurt. Hey man, I'm doing the best that I can here. All right, update that. All right, So this has, let's see, total batters faced, and that's what we'll go off here. We won't go plate appearance. We'll go total batters faced. So there is hits allowed. Here is doubles allowed. Here is strikeouts. There's home runs allowed. And here's batting average allowed. So that's going to be everything that we need here. Like, that's not going to be a problem at all. I'm going to pop open a seltzer water. All right. So this is going to be all that we need. Again, I'm just going to copy this and throw it on into our pitcher stats now. Remember, just hit Control-Shift-V, and that'll paste over all of the values. Getting kind of blown up in the League of Legends Discord, so let's see what's going on there while I wait for the data to load up. Oh, it looks like things did really well. Yay, projections were good. And there was... Okay. All right. So anyway, sorry about that again. I had to go check things. So here is the pitcher stats. We're just going to go through. We're going to make them skinny because I don't want to have to be going back and forth. And then we're going to take these things per batter faced. And we'll just say that's per plate appearance just for consistency's sake. So we are going to want the same things. We're going to want to strike out per plate appearance. We're going to want walk per plate appearance. We're going to want home run per plate appearance. We're going to want single and double. That's right. And I think that's it, because we can't control for steals. We have first, we have second, we have home runs, we have walks, we have strikeouts. Cool. Okay. So we can do the same thing here, where we're going to take the stat and we're going to divide it by the total batter faced. Equals this divided by this. We know that we're going to reuse cell or column E plenty of times. So we're going to put a little dollar sign there. We're going to copy this over. And we're actually going to copy it over a couple times, and then I'm just going to change the cells based on what cells that I need are. So for walk, we need column M. For home run, we need column L. For first base, or for singles. Ooh, okay. So this one's important. So now we know we have hits here, but hits are going to be inclusive of doubles, triples, and home runs. So we need to isolate first base. We can get second base easy. We can just go over and we can change this column to whatever second base is, which is H. But for first base, it doesn't give us how many singles allowed. It only gives us how many hits allowed. So what we actually need there is, if we're going to do singles, then we need equals hits minus doubles minus triples and minus home runs. And then that's going to give us how many singles a pitcher allowed. So then we can take this, right, and we can say equals this, not that, equals this divided by total batters faced. And then we can get singles per batter faced. So we're just going to take all this, fuck my life, take all that. We are just going to copy that down for every single pitcher. And this will probably take a second to get all the way down, and that's okay. And a lot of this stuff, I mean, again, you're probably not going to be doing a lot of like finding out how many strikeouts per total batters faced and how many steals per total batter faced. Like, you're probably not going to be doing a lot of that. But I think that it's important to be able to understand how to do that kind of stuff and how to extract information from other things. sometimes you don't always get what you need out of the data provided. Like I do a lot of home run per plate appearance. I do stolen base per plate appearance, stuff like that. A lot of projection systems don't, and they don't necessarily need it, but I find there is value in doing it. So that's why I'm doing this stuff, so you guys can just kind of like see the process and that kind of thing. So here is all of our pitcher stats. And before we end this video, we're just going to go over here and we are going to put together the same thing we just put together for hitters. Because we know that we are going to be regressing these stats in the next video. So we're going to put up these stats here so that we know that we can just put those things against each other. So just take a pitcher. We'll do Clayton Kershaw. So we are going to do the same thing here. The index match. We're going to, our index is the big old pitcher array. So we know that we're starting with the pitcher names. We're going to start in column B. Again, Control Shift to the right and then press the down arrow and that'll copy all of the data. We know that we're only going to be working with that array, so we can explicitly tell it to only look in that array. We're going to do our match, where we are matching, not Mitch, goddammit. We're going to our match. We're going to go back to our pitchers. We're only going to be looking at column A, although the row will be dynamic. We're going to be looking in pitcher stats. Remember the issue that I had last time where I chose all of column B. This time we're going to be saying how many cells we want. And what you can do is you can click here, right, cell B2, and then Control Shift and down. Oh, that only works on Excel? Okay, that's cool. So you can do this where you can highlight cells 2 and 3. We know that we're always going to be starting with cell B2. And then we can say instead of B3, we can just type in 1000 here, and that'll go all the way down to row 1000. So that's good. We know that we want an exact match. So that's finding the pitcher in column B. And the next match, I did the exact same thing with both. Back to pitchers. We know that we are going to be only looking at row 1, although B will be dynamic. I'm going to match that over here. Oh my God. I don't work in Google Docs very often. We know that we're only going to be using this range of cells and run the exact match. Okay. Strikeout plate appearance. Average. Walk plate appearance. Stolen base per plate appearance, right? We don't have that one, so we can just leave that blank. I don't know, null, whatever. Home run per plate appearance, first base per plate appearance, or single plate appearance, double plate appearance. So now, any pitcher that we put in here, put in Garrett Cole, pull up his stats. He had a massive strikeout per plate appearance. Homer Bailey, Sean Men, however you spell his name. That is still not right. Whatever. I don't know, Zach Greinke. We can get all of their stats. So in the next video, what we're going to do is we're going to take the team, right, where we have the Angels, and we're going to set them up against this pitcher where we now have the same stats we were going to be regressing. We know that the matchup, like we know that Mike Trout is not going to just bat 291 in every single game. We know that David Fletcher is not going to bat 302 in every game. We know that that is based on what the pitcher is going to be doing. So if they were facing Zach Greinke, then their batting average for that game is probably going to go down per plate appearance. So in the next video, what we're going to do is we're going to go over how to regress that stuff and how to actually build up a matchup so that it's more accurate than just using the base stats. Hopefully this has been good. Hopefully you guys learned some things about like index match and data aggregation and stuff like that. We're going to do videos like every couple days, I think, around 5 p.m. So thanks for tuning in. Follow on my Twitch, I guess. I've never done Twitch, so I guess follow this channel, and yeah, I'll talk to you guys in the Discord.